Hi, I'm O4Dude, and I'm going to talk about collecting this moon and vectoring down to that wire so you can collect the moon above that checkpoint down there. Collecting these two moons in Darker Side is going to be a little bit faster, around 5 seconds, compared to collecting Captain Toad in Lake Kingdom, as well as the free moon in the water down there. It's called Deep Deep Down. So you'll save about 5 seconds if you switch to getting these two moons instead. Then you probably will have to watch out for how many Captain Toad moons you're getting. I think that will put you traditionally right at the cutoff for Toadette. So at that point you can't miss any more Captain Toad moons. But who knows what routes will be in the future. Anyway, for actually doing these two moons, you have to do this vector correctly. And my first big piece of advice is when you exit this room, already be holding to the right on your camera, so you can immediately start turning the camera before you even gain control of Mario. The second thing is the angle. The angle that you roll off of this edge is the most important thing for getting down to that wire. It doesn't matter so much if you're here or over here, although being over here will put you a little bit closer. Really, if you have the right angle and you're going from over here, you're gonna make it. But if you have the wrong angle, then it doesn't matter where you are. You're almost never gonna make it down to the wire. So, in terms of visual cues, it's not great, and when you're doing this, the camera is still just turning a little bit as you get set here, so it can be a little difficult. But I try and aim for the edge of this carpet to be where I'm headed right after I start rolling. But that doesn't mean you should aim for this to roll off the edge at this spot. Because if your angle is a little bit too far right, and you overcorrect so that you can go back left to be right here, your angle is going to be too far left. And likewise, if your initial angle is a little bit left of this carpet, then you curve the roll over, and now your angle is going to be too far right. So you're just going to have to practice this a bunch and get a feel for what a good angle is. One useful feature of turning the camera around here, besides seeing where you're going, is that as soon as you go off the edge, there's this other visual cue I use, which is this green roof in the background has these vertical lines on it. And if Mario is facing directly aligned with those lines, his angle is just slightly too far left. So ideally, it's a little bit more to the right of being aligned with those vertical lines on the roof. And that will be a great angle. Generally speaking, if your angle is too far left, you're going to die. But if your angle is too far right, you'll probably live. So I noticed that looks like a good angle. Come down here, cap throw, and if you're a little bit far like I was, you should do a regular throw onto the spark pylon. But if you're high enough and close enough, you can do a spin throw. If you're just looking to make it there, make it to the wire at all, not necessarily get a spin throw every time, then my visual cue is to throw Cappy when Mario is right at this, where the brown meets the white on the wall. That makes for a really good spot to throw Cappy and dive onto him, and it lets you be high enough that you can still do a regular cap throw around this area and then home in on the wire. If you want to spin throw it, you're going to have to cap throw a little higher up, but you're going to have to be a lot closer. You can judge that based on how good the vector looked. And again, you're just going to have to practice this a bunch. Another small piece of information is whether you do a roll boost at the edge or not. So I believe if you don't do a roll boost, then the entire time that Mario is rolling here, he is losing a small amount of speed. But if you do a roll boost right at the edge, then Mario is going to get back a lot of that rolling speed that he lost in this short distance. And so you're going to have the full speed that you need to get down there. So although you can do it by just rolling off the edge and then going into the vector, it's going to be you're going to be a little bit farther. Also, if you are worried you're too far, you can throw Cappy towards the wire and then turn and dive towards this part of the roof. It's a lot lower, and that will give you a good chance of staying alive if Cappy does miss. If you can't even get Cappy near the wire, you may just be able to dive right onto this corner and then do a counterclockwise spin throw, and Cappy will go up this slope, catch on this slope, and then go into the wire. Another thing is, if you immediately notice that your angle is wrong, then you can abort it and say, oh, this angle is too far left, I'm not going to make it. And you can stop rolling and come over here, and then do a vault from this space. If your game plan is to do a vault from here, I don't recommend that, because then you're losing a lot of the time that you would even be saving from trying these two moons, and you should just try and learn how to do this vector properly. But it's a good backup to just do a vault from down there, if you're worried that your angle is wrong. Another thing that I highly recommend is committing to the vector. So fully sit into that angle, regardless of, it looks like, for instance, right here, the way Mario's been traveling looks like he's on course for like about here. He's heading kind of towards this spot of the roof here. But I really want to go towards the wire, so maybe I want to like get out of this vector a little bit and angle a little bit more to the right. But that's not going to get you any extra distance. It's not going to get you any closer to the wire. Just commit to the vector, to the full vector, and don't try and like cheat it. And then a final piece of information that a lot of people don't know about is that you can collect this next moon while still in the wire. And so to do that, hold your control stick to the right and then shake like a madman just before you get the moon. And that will let you grab the moon. You won't always get it. If you end up getting kicked out of the wire before you collect the moon, that just means that you didn't get a shake input on the wire at the exact right moment. So, you know, shake as hard as you can, press A, B, X, and Y, because they all can also let you go towards a moon if you're in a wire. So just more button presses, more inputs to tell the wire to go to the moon is better. If you get kicked out of the wire after collecting the moon, that has nothing to do with getting a shake input or anything. It just means that you were holding the wrong direction on the control stick. You need to hold down and left, not just directly to the left. If you hold directly to the left, sometimes you get kicked out of the wire. If you hold down and left, you will never get kicked out of the wire after grabbing the moon. That's all. So, thanks for watching.